All right, this week on Lego Garage, we're going to make this thing do stuff. Hopefully. Like that. Okay, so it's the Easter holidays and we're not in lockdown anymore, but we've still got to wear masks like weirdos. And I've put stuff together and done lots of wiring. And I'll just show you if you want.
Look at it. It's a thing again.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive because the other day when I saw it, it was definitely not a thing.
So I think I found the main problem that the guys before me were having. The Magnafuel reg actually had a split diaphragm in it. Funnily enough, I had another Magnafuel reg that also had a split diaphragm that I fixed off the Volvo. So that's now on here. And they also had the vacuum line for the fuel regulator plumbed to the catch can in the back for some reason. There's so many Dash 4 lines everywhere, I think they just got confused.
It's not hard to see why.
And I figured out the dry sump pump and all the plumbing for that. I tidied that up all at the front. That all sits in the apron. That's the last bit of wiring I have still to do. That's the 2 Mac valves for the boost, add and remove. The whole cooling system is all bolted up and filled with water, and it's not leaking yet.
Unlike the Ute.
Yeah, unlike the Ute. Yeah, so in here I've done lots of stuff irresponsibly off camera once again, but
surely not.
That's how it is. So I've run a ground cable and a power cable to the block, to terminals here, and then I've ran them back to the battery in the boot and through the isolator on the negative side. And I've got that crimping tool from Haltech, that one that you use a hammer with, which is right up our alley. And it's pretty bloody awesome actually. I assembled each end on the cable, fed them through, bolted to where they needed to be, and then assembled the other end on the ground outside the car, just like done. No soldering, crimping. People will be happy. Had to use 1 gauge or 0 BNS, I think it was, or 1 BNS cable to crimp onto these. Use the same crimper on the lugs. Works good on them too. I'm going to use it for everything now. Finished all that wiring to the CDI. Lots faster when I wasn't filming it. I've gone and rated my other KE10 for a steering wheel because I like big steering wheels. And this morning I went to Jaycar. Hello Jaycar guys.
Ooh.
And
that one does stuff.
And drilled some switches into the steering wheel. It's connected to a 3-pin Deutsch under here via a stereo 3.5 jack. So basically when I'm driving around, I'm not whipping cables around everywhere like I hate. When you're at the track, if you're putting that much steering in, you're probably in trouble anyway. So it doesn't matter. I'll probably get some twirly cable for that. Jaycar didn't have any for some reason.
In the dash.
Mounted the dash to
we have an indicator.
Oh yeah. Should have high beams too.
The manifold pressure's not exactly sure whether it has some or not, apparently.
It's right on the edge. So that's all finished in there. That I modified the IQ3 bracket to fit the IC7. It's pretty heavy, but
it's sturdy enough.
It's indicator.
Things work.
Indicators. Won't get high beam now.
No high beam thing.
Until you put the lights on. Just there. Bit high beam.
Ooh.
And what's this? Ooh. Street car.
All through the Nexus.
Yeah. Turn that key and see what happens.
Turn it, really?
Yeah.
I'm scared. So it goes.
It actually just fired straight up. I took a guess at the ignition offset being about 55 and it ended up being like 63, so it started, ran, I got a timing light on it.
That's cool.
What else you got?
It looks different now that I know it runs.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It probably only has 3 litres of fuel in the tank. That's why the fuel pump's not running, the transfer pump, because it's empty.
Cool.
So this Nexus install, this is the first one I've ever done. And this is the first one I ever configured. So I actually plugged the USB cable in, had the main terminals disconnected, so it was dead. and configured the entire thing powered on the USB. So in theory, I wouldn't be able to hurt any coils or anything with drivers that were turned off and on permanently while I was doing it. The only problem I've had so far is the Davies Craig water pump draws more current than the 8 amp output wants to give me. Haltech made it so that they'll handle double the current that it's limited to. So you can tell it to run 12 amps, but it just keeps putting a warning up. And that stuff's with my OCD.
Oh.
So I have to ask them how to fix that.
You have to wire it to a different output, or is there another output?
You can double up outputs,
Oh.
but I don't have any left.
You don't have any outputs left?
Not that style.
Oh.
Yeah. The other cool thing, the Nexus 2 is Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi connection-y stuff.
So obviously once you've done the first config, you set up the Wi-Fi password. So there you go, it's on. So you can do cool stuff like,
So this is all real time?
Yeah, if I want to test I can show you, like, this is the headlight circuitry. So there's an input that's used to turn the headlights on. There's an input that's used to turn the Parkers on. Then there's 2 outputs that are used, obviously to run the headlights. So you can change their states and turn them on and off. I've obviously got a bulb out over there.
And you got high beam?
Yeah, can do high beam. I've actually had to make the high beam a generic output.
That's pretty bloody cool.
Obviously
you can do all the fans and water pump and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the water pump I've got running at the moment, so it doesn't run unless the engine is also running more than 500. So if I turn that to less than, yeah, that's the water pump running. It's noisy, eh?
It is.
So you can see it's pushing the water up through those 3. That's just those 3 on top of the cylinder head purging that. But obviously it's flowing through this tank as well. So far it doesn't get that hot.
That's pretty cool.
So everything that's controlled by the ECU you can turn on and off from here, obviously. There's the wipers. Indicators. You can also do this stuff if you want to be freaky.
Wow.
That's probably not a good idea.
I just shit myself.
Because it's going to be fun at the track, eh? There's going to be like 20 Nexus cars there and someone's going to hack some Wi-Fi passwords and there's going to be shit going everywhere.
Shit's just going to start going off.
Yeah. I haven't configured the dash yet, obviously. So the CDI, that's what we're talking about the other day. There's an output there now that basically turns, an output on if the boost is greater than 5 pounds. So that's how you turn the CDI into high output mode. Everything else is pretty basic. It's just the PDM stuff is different. Like when things are running, like if you run this water pump, I'll run it again. You can then see it's drawing, so somewhere up to 10 amps at the moment. So you can get a full idea of what the actual entire current draw is on the car when it's running.
Which is pretty bloody handy, really, isn't it? Especially for fault finding stuff. It's just all.
Well, I didn't think that pump would pull 10 amps. So the thermo fans, this has got a big Davies Craig fan on the back of it. See, it soft starts, but it draws 20 amps while it's running.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is all this stuff?
It's
beefy
pretty
as
cool.
hell, eh?
Unlike that.
I haven't checked
thing
the.
there. See that? See that? That ain't cool.
Have I got reverse lights? I haven't got a switch for them, but I'm assuming that should be doing something.
You have one reverse light and it also has an indicator on, so unless that indicator should be that reverse light, Brake, is that a brake light?
That's brake lights.
But you have the left-hand indicator is on with the reverse light. Now the other indicator's on. Why are both your indicators on?
I'll just turn them on.
Oh.
Is there still a left-hand indicator on?
There was, you just turned it off.
That's reverse light.
No, well the reverse light went out. That's both. That's an indicator and a reverse light, but no reverse light on the right-hand side.
Something's gone astray in the wiring up the back there, I'd say. That was the original car wiring, it wasn't mine. Oh yeah, it's on there, yeah. So it's somehow powering up the left-hand indicator circuit. It's backfeeding it.
Yeah. Well, that's something to fix.
Hmm.
And it's on.
And it's off.
And it's off.
Maybe we should drive it around or something.
Sure.
It's almost out of fuel.
Drive at the car park.
Fuel pushing if it runs out. That's like 5 litres, it should be right.
So not keen on pushing. Anywho.
So did you put some more silicone on your sump?
No.
You didn't?
No.
So that's going to come out.
Yeah. That bastard Holden can...
I'll just start it up, hey, so we don't have to bother.
It's a little on the piss, isn't it?
Yeah, I might have to do my second ever lasering on that and fix it. Yeah, it's like it's not bolted on the balancer square.
On the piss a bit.
Sounds pretty grumpy, eh?
It is angry.
I think it's just about out of fuel, it won't rev.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I heard it kind of die in there. Well, that's,
Well, it doesn't have any tune in it, it's just got a rev tune in it.
yeah. That is pretty cool. Well, it runs, it drives.
Now what?
Turbo still works. Well,
I do have more shit to do. I've got to put the apron back on. I'm going to have to... A guy sent me some park lights.
oh
And Jono is also sending me a KE10 earlier bumper. A good
yeah.
one.
The early one.
Yeah, that's got the little...
With
It's got the cutouts underneath
Yep.
for the... Yeah, and then because this pipe sits here, the outside shell of the light will fit, but the inside shell won't. So I'm going to cut that and then put LEDs in the back of it, so it's slim.
That'll work.
Then I think for road driving we might go to a 235 radial,
235.
so it doesn't look so funny carish.
Come on, mate.
That's a big tyre for a little car.
It
And
is.
so what about this ute? What's happening with it?
Not a lot's happening with it because it's a bastard ute.
So
we have a leak to fix, and it's
you know how my inlet manifold cracked after it was welded and it was bolted to a flat surface? Well, same thing, same. But on a
somebody's
sump,
welded the sump and,
where you can't take the cross member out and you can't get the engine high enough to get the sump off.
well, I don't know if you will. You reckon we'll, well, I don't know. It's not going to be a fun job, so I don't know if we'll get the sump. I don't know if we'll get them.
I can feel your silicon handiwork
right.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just pretty sloppy, eh?
Hey?
Just a bit sloppy.
Yeah. It's very tight to get into, so
You're just going to have to do it. Motor out, fix the sump,
yeah.
bolt it back
Gonna
on,
have to. Yep.
put friggin' oil in it on an engine stand this time, and or water in it on the ground or something.
What are you doing now?
Well, I just think it's hilarious.
What are you doing?
It's the best thing ever.
Oh, what's going on there, mate?
What?
What's going on there?
Remember how I said it's most probably out of fuel?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's probably most probably out of fuel.
Look at that ute. You look at it.
Don't look at it. All right, well that's the end of my 2-day slogathon across the, what was it? Easter.
It's Easter, yeah, it's still Easter.
Holiday weekend thing, jigger. Still got a fair bit to go. I've got to do the bumper, the apron, the whole CO2 boost control system.
Actually, somebody. This is, I know it's the outro, but you know, anyway. Somebody asked why CO2 and not compressed air.
Wouldn't make any difference. I don't know why they use CO2 and none. They could use compressed air. That's your answer. You can use nitrous if you wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything that can be put under pressure. I'll go and turn it off.
Like that compressed air. Should
Yeah.
work. Wow.
Yeah, so I've got to put all the front end on the CO2 crap. And then basically my flow bench blew up. So I don't have an ultrasonic bath or even an injector flow bench that works at the moment. And this has 12 Siemens 2400cc injectors that have been sitting around in the air doing nothing and possibly had methanol in them.
Yeah.
So 9 out of the 12 actually were dead. I had to tap them and power them and
Revive them.
do industry standard things to them to make them work. And I blew air through them, and I'm happy that all of them flow roughly the same amount of air on my aerometer. But that's not good enough. I'm going to have to
Show us
clean
your
them.
aerometer.
clean them and
Show me your
flow them
aerometer.
before I go and stick 50 pounds of boost in the bloody thing. So next week,
Tips at 60.
next week it's either going to be dyno tuning or not. I don't know. We're going to run out of time.
We are.
Anyway, I'm going home.
Bye, people.
And I'll just show you if you want.
What if they don't want? What if they don't want to see it?
I don't care. Whatever. Stay there then. All right, so that's 2 days of concentrated effort and getting in trouble with the missus for your entertainment.
You think they appreciate it?
I don't know.
More than your wife does.
Yeah, she doesn't appreciate it very much at the moment.
Well, you should do that again.
Yeah.